Sometimes it feels like all city cars are the same. You've got the Volkswagen Trio, the Up, the Seat Me and the Skoda Citigo. Then you've got the Fiat 500, which is a great looking car, but it's looked the same now for what feels like decades. But there's a different way, and it's this. Suzuki think this is the answer if you want to stand out from the crowd and have something slightly different. So we're going to take it for a ride and see what it's like. And this is the 5-door all-new Ignis city car. So the Ignis is available in 3 trim levels, the SZ3, SZT and SZ5. There's 2 engines to choose from, a 1.2 litre petrol and the same 1.2 litre petrol but linked to a hybrid system, which puts it up against the Yaris. What this does have though is the option to go for 4-wheel drive, and that's Suzuki's all-grip. In addition, you can either have a 5-speed manual gearbox or go for the optional 5-speed automatic. I'm in the SZ5 with all grip and the 5-speed manual. So prices start from £9,995, raising to £13,999 for this range topper. CO2 emissions range from 97 grams per kilometre to 104, and that 104 has even got the all-wheel drive system on it, so that's pretty impressive. The car we're testing has a 0-60 of 11.1 seconds and a claimed combined economy of 60.1 miles per gallon. This 5-speed manual feels pretty slick. There's a really light clutch, which makes it particularly easy changing gear in heavy traffic. It's got quite a short throw to it and it's light. You don't actually need to put much effort in changing gear, which is brilliant for a city car and going through congested areas. The engine's reasonably quiet and there's a nice little pep to it as you accelerate, but it's not overbearing and it settles down nicely when you're cruising along. So it could be a comfortable car on the motorway and on dual carriageways. You often find that Superminis struggle with larger bumps because the suspension isn't big enough to absorb the travel that's needed. But this isn't the case in the Ignis. It's dealing with speed bumps well and potholes and rainwater gullies very comfortably, and it actually translates into a relaxing, comfortable ride. Up the speed of the Ignis and that ride does become a little bit choppier on some rougher roads, but it's not terribly bad. At motorway speeds there's a little bit of wind noise, but again reasonably well contained. While the engine, the harder you push it, the more it rewards you. Up past 4,000-5,000 revs it seems to come alive again. Never really feels too slow, it's pretty swift, and those facts of 11.1 0-60 are about right, but it doesn't feel that slow. Despite the upright shape of the Ignis, it handles really well. There's a little shift in body weight as you go into the corner, but it's really rather neat and tidy actually. It's quite a lot of fun when you throw it through a few one after another bends. The steering's well weighted and it's very consistent. It feels a bit light, so it's really easy to drive and steer. On these damp winter roads, it does show a bit of understeer, but this 4-wheel drive system sorts that out quite quickly for you. The seating position in this car is quite high up, so I feel quite tall, which really goes with that crossover character of the Ignis. There's some good height adjustment on the seating, so I've got it quite low, but I've got plenty of headroom still. The backrest has a lever controller and there's enough settings there to find a comfortable position. What is disappointing is the steering wheel only adjusts for tilt, so you can only move it up and down, you can't move it back and forth, which is really disappointing. But I'm in a good sitting position, I've got a good view out. Those thick pillars over my shoulder do obstruct some view, but on this car there's a reversing camera which helps when parking and manoeuvring. The dials are super simple in front, nothing complicated. Speedometer in the middle, rev counter to the side, and a trip computer to the other side. Inside there's a nice use of colours to lift the cabin ambience, so you get lighter materials lower down, darker higher up, and a lighter roof lining. Materials are all pretty hard but feel quite robust, so shouldn't fall apart too quickly. Ignis has the obligatory freestanding infotainment system, which is quite neat and tidy and easy to use, while the electronic ventilation system and heating controls are pretty simple to use, clear and nicely designed. This model also comes with grip control for better traction on slippery surfaces and hill descent control. There's not a massive amount of storage in the front. You've got quite narrow but long pockets in the door, and there's space for a bottle. There's a cup holder between the seats at the back and 2 cup holders at the front with a small tray in front, but there's no central compartment or anything like that. In the back there's just enough headroom for me at 5'9", but leg and knee room is pretty impressive. There's only 2 seats though, so you're not going to get 3 across the back, while those seats split 50-50 and will slide forward and tilt as well. That means you can prioritise boot space or rear passenger space. In the boot there's 260 litres, which is 10 less than a Ford Ka Plus, but 9 more than an Up, and the floor's pretty flat with storage underneath for your tyre inflator kit. So the Ignis is a fun little car. It's got a nice ride, it handles well, it's got the option to have hybrid technology and all-wheel drive system. And with these looks and that crossover feel, this could be a really good winner.